Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's have a quick look at AMD. Since last time we looked at AMD, we have seen a decline on Friday of 1.9%, not that massive at all, and again looking at the charts, a few things do stand out. I'm going to be giving you my personal thoughts and opinions based on what we've seen over the last week today. Do remember though, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, it's just my personal thoughts. If you do enjoy this video, make sure to give it a like, share and subscribe. It lets me know that you guys want to see more content on AMD stock. So, I want to start off on the 1-day chart. Again, not really all too significant of a decrease, but we are decreasing. We're seeing a little bit of a drop as the day begins, followed by generally a relatively flat day, right? Not that much particularly to report on. A relatively flat day, however, a weak trend now where we are seeing things really start to drop as time goes on. Just have a look at this trend, right? We are seeing highs at the early part of the week, looking roughly around 185. Now we're down to 177. Again, given the context of the situation, given the context of everything that we've seen in the last couple of months, this is not particularly bad. However, it is still worth noting. And again, if you have a look out a bit further, this is what I always like to do. It's also important to note that we've just hit recent highs, right? 185 was really quite a high for the period that we've seen. We've not seen highs like this for quite some time, so please do bear that in mind. I would argue that especially after this gap up that we've seen, this significant gap up, a lot of this is simply going to be profit taking and not necessarily the biggest thing to worry about as of yet. However, with all of that being said, coming up to where we're coming up to now, the thing that I want to see next is this level hold. This, roughly, is a level that we found some support at many a time in the past, especially as of recent. You know, we've seen it initially as a resistance level back here and here, but yeah, we're seeing it as a support somewhat now. We are also, if you zoom these levels out, seeing a similar level of support briefly here and arguably briefly around this period too. So if we can hold on to this 177 mark, things are good. If not, we could be looking to drop slightly further, not by too much. However, at the same time, I'm still pretty happy with where things are here. You know, the context is always important, so of course we've got to factor in, yeah, we've seen a massive jump in the past couple of weeks for AMD. This is inevitably going to come with some red days, it's inevitably going to come with some volatility. And that brings me on to my personal stance here, right? This is obviously at the top of a very, very long run. That doesn't mean that things are over. Depending on how you want to see this one, guys, there is two approaches. Some people are going to see this as an absolute risk, some people are going to see this as a stock which has gone up massively, and some people are going to see this as a opportunity for a potential entry point. Either way, I'd say one thing. Irrespective of what you think about this one, I think it is safe to say that based on the price action alone, irrespective of the fundamentals, right, we need to approach this one with at least a large degree of caution. Things here are very volatile, and this is going to be a very risky trade, not necessarily a trade without potential upside. Of course, there is a high risk reward ratio here if things do work out, but it is going to be a trade with a lot of volatility, a trade with a lot of risk. So in my personal opinion, if people are not looking forward to that, if people are not interested in that, this might not be the one to go for. However, if you are interested in that, I think this could be a great risk-reward play potentially. Definitely a very risky play, but again, if we see this trend continue, things could go well. It's also important to note that in the past, yes, we have seen AMD's price being significantly higher. Go back to around March of last year, and you can see prices around 214, 215, even higher than that. The very highest point I think was around 226, 227. So we're not necessarily in all-time uncharted territory. However, we are coming up to a point where we have seen, and this is very important, a lot of resistance in the past. Just have a look. You can have a look for now, you can have a look for here, you can have a look for here, you can have a look for here. All of these levels roughly around the same mark, 185. We're finding a lot of difficulty at this point historically. This is not particularly new, and this must be factored in when looking at where we go from here. Now that doesn't mean that we're done, right? We had this example here where the stock hit 185, broke to the downside, and then of course found the support before rocketing up to higher levels. At the same time, you've got to factor in, we've seen a massive recovery in the last few months on AMD anyway, so that's also worth thinking about. What I would say though is, if you are looking to get into this one, if it's something that you are interested in, again, we have bounced below that mark that we were looking for, right, of 185 roughly. We've seen ourselves get up that high, Now we've bounced below it. The question is now going to be if this level of support holds, right? If we can hold on to where we are right now, fantastic. If not, looking to go slightly lower to the 170 mark. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of volatility here. If you guys are ready to get serious about trading for less than the price of a coffee every day, I've got to tell you about the new Patreon page that I have just launched. That's right, guys, I have a new Patreon. I'm going to be sharing everything on here, from my personal stocks that I am watching to pre-market updates, as well as a Discord group which I have started. It's going to allow you to access similar-minded, like-minded people who are also interested in sharing their knowledge about the markets. I'm going to be sharing a lot of stuff over here, guys. There's going to be a lot of exclusive content coming in the next couple of weeks. But do bear in mind, for most of the tiers, spots are limited. The Market Scout, where you'll gain access to the Discord, prices will change after 150 members. At the moment, guys, I'm limited for time, so the Trader's Edge course and above, we're limiting the courses even lower, right? There's a limited amount of people who can join. At the same time, depending on the level of mentorship that you want, we have prices going all the way up from 1450 to the highest tiers over here that you can see. Again, if you're looking to take your journey to that next level, on these middle tiers, this is personally the one that I would recommend, even though it's not the most expensive. It costs less than a coffee every single day, and the amount of information that you'll get here, in my personal opinion, is absolutely worth the value. At the very least, guys, you can become a member for free. The link is down in the description, the comment section, and the bio. Just give it a look and see what you think. And of course, feel free to sign up if you're looking to take your journey even further. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the video. If you've been watching my videos for quite a while now, you'll know that there's one thing that I always say. I don't want to necessarily give you guys an answer. I want to give you guys the important levels that I am looking for so you can make your own minds up. It's not my job, it's not my aim to directly tell you what is essentially going to happen. But I can tell you this, right? They are the levels that I'm looking for, and I do expect a lot of volatility. So if you're interested in a highly volatile play with potential upside, now could be coming on or coming near to a relatively okay entry point. If you were to wait a little bit longer, you could see prices around 170. If you weren't looking for that, and if you think things are going to go higher, again, we could be looking to test up 185 again before potentially going above there. But we have found some recent resistance at this point that is absolutely noteworthy. But yeah, I think the general trend is not bad. We're still green really for the week from those highs that we saw. We are down slightly. However, the general week trend is not bad. And the question is, well, do you really think that AMD is going to run even further? That's a decision for you guys to make. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section. But yeah, they're the key levels that I'm looking for. If you found this video interesting, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. Share it if you found it useful. Thank you so much, and I hope I'll see you again.